Welcome back to another episode of Important Miscellaneous Talks. I'm your host, Glasser Crossfield, and today we have a very, very special guest with us. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kool Kid Dre. I'm from Vernon, New York. I am an artist, singer, producer, and the host of Beats and Sip.
Interesting. Mount Vernon, huh?
You ever heard? What you know about Vernon? What you got on Mount Vernon?
Nah, nothing. It's just interesting group of people over there. So, okay, well, you already explained what you do. How did you discover your love of music?
It's definitely started off really young. I was always somebody who was just trying to be in the front all the time. Like I just love being the center of attention, and just starting off with singing. That was like where it all started. And then I learned how to write raps, and my earliest raps were just cleaning up like my uncles and my stepdad's raps. So that's how I really learned how to write. And then started rapping and singing until about maybe I started that around like 5, 6, rapping and singing until I was like 12, 13. And then my uncle taught me how to produce. He used to bring me to the studio all the time. He was like, "Yo, if you learn how to make your own beats, you can make your own beats and you'll do your own hooks and you write your own raps. Like you'll have everything." So I started off there, just kind of putting my hand in all assets of it. And then when I graduated high school, I ended up going to audio engineering school so I can learn how to engineer. So I've always known this is gonna be my path, and just been taking all the steps to just improve on the craft. That was really what it's been. I enjoy learning. I enjoy getting better. So I love doing it.
Were you in the church choir as a kid?
I was in for a little bit, but they kicked me out. They kicked me out. I was doing a little bit too much. Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah,
like grabbing a mic away from him?
I was doing a little bit too many dances in the middle of like the sections, and you can't really be doing all types of dances. I wasn't doing nothing like crazy like Usher bump and grind, but I was definitely doing something like
Provocative.
yeah, it is like you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Gotcha. So in high school, I'm sorry to cut you off. In high school, you mentioned that like you always wanted to be the star, kind of. So were you always popular in high school?
Yeah, so basically I moved to North Carolina when I was about 13 years old. My mom passed. So I ended up finished up high school out there. And like at first everyone knew me as the kid from New York. Like anybody who's ever known what that's like. When you're from New York, you go to anywhere, any other state, you go to school.
Country, low key. Any other country, low key.
Anywhere. They like, "Oh, you from New York?" So like first that was like how everyone was introduced to me. And then they found my MySpace page of like my raps and stuff like that. So like, "Oh, you rap too?" So I was like, started rapping in like the ciphers in the school. So by the time like my first full year was done, everyone knew I was the kid from New York who was rapping and singing. So I've always kind of been entertaining. I've always been entertaining. So being popular was just kind of what came with that.
You can freestyle?
No, God no. God no. This matter of fact, yo, I shit you not. This is probably about like maybe like the second semester of school. So like school starts like September. This is maybe like in April or some shit like that. And like by this point, everybody knows I rap. And I shit you not, I went to the bathroom and I'm washing my hands. The dude was like, "Yo, I heard you rap." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah." Yo, he was like, "Yo, let's freestyle battle right now." And then him and his mans came out the stall.
What?
Like, it was going on here. And like, he started rapping on top of his head. I started rapping on top of my head, and I'm fumbling and shit like that. And he's like, "Yeah, as long as you know who's the real rapper around here." And I'm like, "All right, bro." I never forgot that. I never forgot how serious it was for him to make his point that he was willing to meet me in the bathroom. So
That was definitely a setup.
it was
It's
definitely
like at that point you had no other choice but to rap at that point.
that was his plan. That was his entire plan. He was like, he's gonna have to do it. So
Do you watch battle rap?
I love battle rap.
Battle rap. Who's your favorites?
Right now, it's K-Shine. I'm a big K-Shine fan.
That's fire.
Sue Surf has been like killing lately.
Facts.
Who else? Twerk, I liked him a lot more when he first kind of coming up, but as well.
Geechee Gotti?
Geechee Gotti, I like. Geechee Gotti, I like. My actual favorite, keep it a band with you, like I just got, like before we got on, I was watching it, is Vixen. Vixen. Shorty is like, she is like she don't miss. I've never seen a whack round from her ever. She might not win every battle, but she's never lost.
Neither has Geechee though. You never seen a whack Geechee?
No, definitely no Whack Geechee. No, definitely no Whack Geechee. No. But something about Vixen, she just like, she's one of the only girls who I feel like would be just as dominant in the men's side as she is on the women's
You
side.
saw what
She's one of
Lopez
the,
did to her though?
yeah, he definitely did work. Don't get me wrong. He definitely did work. He did work. It was a great angle, but she called it ahead of time. It was like, yo, you an angle person. You an angle person. It was like, she kind of foreshadowed it. But yeah. I'm into what's going on in the battle rap.
Rum Nitty?
Rum Nitty, I
What?
like.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna.
You're not a fan of the
I like.
punches. You're not a fan of the punches.
I'm not. I'm not. Like, I'm a fan. Like, no, I'm not gonna say I'm
Shotgun
not a fan
Suge?
of the punches. It's just, here's what it is. When I'm watching a battle, I'm not one of the people who don't take crowd reaction into a battle. Like, a lot of people feel like, yo, I don't pay attention to the crowd because that's the way I pay attention to everything. Pay attention to delivery, pay attention to what you say, pay attention to stories, I pay attention to how the crowd is reacting.
Okay. All
So it's
right.
like, I pay attention to, if the crowd is not rocking with you at that point in time, are you consistent? Like somebody like Goods is consistent no matter if the crowd is
Tay-Rock?
screaming. Yeah, Tay Rock, no matter if the crowd is screaming, booing, they're gonna give the same performance no matter what. They're not moving. They're professionals at what they do. So
Hitman.
like, you know what I'm saying, Hitman. Like, there's a lot of dudes who, like, I could tell when the crowd is not reacting, they get a little shaky, they get nervous. I'm like, ugh.
You like performers.
I
Like,
do. Yeah.
all right, I'm more of a lyricist, but I get you. How would you describe your genre that you're in as an artist?
Now I would definitely say I'm way more R&B. Like, when I first started off, I was like, I would say like back in, well, we was all doing music at high school. But I would say when I really started getting out here, really started putting out projects, I started out mostly rapping, and I would sing on like hooks, and maybe I have like a song here or there singing. So I was like mostly rapping, and I was like doing my best Drake, Childish Gambino rendition
Mm-hmm.
back in like 2012, 13.
Versatile.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of style, like that overly emotional, but still trying to get you with bars and witty stuff. Like, that was like my style. And just kind of developing into, I got better at finding pockets. I've
Mm-hmm.
got better at finding pockets in the music, and I got better at my sound um clarity. Like, everything about my sound was just way more clear. And, even when I was doing my beats, they were way more thorough. It wasn't just like simple
Okay.
sounds. Like, I was
Found your
getting way
niche.
more. Yeah, I found my niche, got into the production side a little bit more. And then, so I was actually rapping for like, that was like my thing. And then around 2015, my boy still brought me out to Taiwan, and we did a show out there, like this
That's
big Taiwan
fire.
festival. Crazy, right? So I do the show. It was like maybe like 1,200 people, 2,000 people, something like that at that point. And I had dropped a freestyle. I did like a cover, a Tory Lanez cover, and was singing. So what happened was, right after I came off that show, my following started going up. So it
Mm.
just so happened, right as my following started to go up, people started to see me sing. So I just ended up going into that singing lane, because I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's what people kind of prepare for now. So I literally just made a full-fledged twist in the R&B, like back in like 2015, 16. So now I do mostly R&B. I rap from time to time. Um, I'm always gonna rap, but I definitely way more into the R&B lane. And yeah, in R&B, I feel a lot more expressive. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can express a lot more.
How would you describe the current state of R&B? Because it's not the early 2000s, and it
Yeah,
seems as though we're kind of running out of quality, or at least bigger names. It seems to be less mainstream nowadays, R&B
yeah,
music.
that's what I was about to say. I think there's less like of these big super like, I feel like you get one really big R&B artist that comes out every year, as opposed to like rappers. I feel like we get like a good 5 to 10
Mhm.
every
Okay.
year. I would say, like, I first of all, I think talent wise is as good as it's ever been. Like, you could just literally let an R&B playlist rock, and
Interesting.
like, it's it's amazing, because it's like, you've got your people who have these, people who are always going to have these angelic voices are always going to do well in the genre. There are people who you can tell don't have the greatest vocal range, but their writing is dope, or like their production is dope, and like it's giving you that same feel. So even if their voice isn't the greatest, they're still giving you quality music and quality R&B vibes. It's like, even that is a talent in itself, which a lot of people acknowledge, but they don't really realize what it is about it they like. They just like they just like
Mhm.
it. Yeah. But it's definitely not the early 2000s, not at all. Definitely not. Definitely not.
So, how would you suggest an R&B artist to make it in today's day and age, where you don't see as many of the bigger faces?
Um, mm, I think I think more than ever, you have to really understand, especially going to marketing, you got to understand yourself really well because before there was there weren't enough channels for people to introduce themselves to a new market.
Mhm.
Now there are so many that a lot of people get, they get stagnant and they get nervous and they're not like, well, if I need to do more TikTok, I need to do more Instagram, I need to do more shows. And I think it just really depends on finding out what you want to do. I think for certain R&B artists who sing really well, I think if you're an amazing singer, I think you should be doing as many live shows as you can. I think you should be doing as many live shows as you can and
Mhm.
doing as many like, singing to your phone as you can. I wouldn't even focus so much on creating your own music because if you can sing, you can give more content if your singing is great. And now you're singing here, you're singing there, and now people just know you're an amazing talent. Now
Mhm.
when it's time for you to bring out your music, you already know how people already enjoy your singing. As opposed to somebody maybe oh, hold on, let me get you got me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like somebody who maybe you're a better producer. Maybe you don't have the greatest voice, but your beats are amazing. You can sing around that. I would spend a lot more time on things like doing TikToks and doing those mashup reels where like you're on this side doing your beat, singing your hook, and then you leave it open for somebody else to remix it. Like the internet gives
Mhm.
the door, it's an open door for you to find your lane. I just think if you're a personality person and that's your thing, go into that space. If you're an introvert, maybe Twitter's your space and tweak your lyrics and find your way. Like there's just so many different avenues. I think the best thing for any artist, R&B rapper, folk singer, whatever it is you do, figuring out what you are as an artist first and then finding the best platform to showcase that, and everything else will fall into place.
It's really unfortunate because I know there are a lot of talented R&B artists, but because people feel like there's a cap on the kind of because the best in R&B, it seems right now won't be as big as like a Drake or a Ye. So a
Mhm.
lot of people feel like, man, like I can only go so far with R&B.
Yeah, I mean,
It's unfortunate.
it's unfortunate, but at the same time, the genre is different. R&B is
We just
R&B.
adjusting.
Yeah, it's just different. It's not there's gonna be your mega stars in different genres, but like as a collective, let's put it like this: as a collective, there's way more R&B songs I like than rap songs. You know what I mean? So even if there's a lot of rappers who headline these shows, but like there's way more. You know.
Honestly, I hear like even the people who are really into hip hop, like they'll
Mhm.
tell you like I listen to R&B a lot more. I enjoy R&B a lot more. R&B is my favorite genre.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's definitely still out there. How would you describe your writing process? What goes through your mind? How do you get from point A to point B?
It's changed over the years. When I on the rapping side, a lot of it was me taking lines that I would like something would inspire a line in my phone and find it. I kind of go through those lines and start piecing things together and building a story around that. And that was generally how I wrote. Once I started getting more into R&B, it's a lot more of the music really inspires a lot of these thoughts. I'll have a concept.
Mhm.
I'll have an idea that I want to talk about this girl who made me feel like we were in a relationship, but she knew we weren't. You know what I mean? I want to talk about that. And I don't know how it's gonna come out. I don't know how I'm gonna say it. I don't know what I'm gonna sing, but I'm gonna let this beat influence me in the right way. And then I'll similar idea to how I would write. I would find one line that really encapsulates like what I'm really trying to say. And once I find that one line, I tend to build around that and melodies and things like that. You can just kind of have fun with it and let that rock. But I'm big on finding lines that like on their own. If you read them, they're like, oh my god, like I felt that, or I understand that, or that's dope.
How do you come up with a hook?
That's the easiest part for me. That's the easiest part. I would so like I produce a lot of my own music, so generally the ideas kind of build as the music builds. So I'll start off with a beat, find a sound, build off of it, and once it gives me an energy, I'll like find a place. I'll arrange this beat, and then I'll find a place. I'm like, okay, this is where the hook should be,
Hmm.
and I'll just that around and just figure out what melodies hit. And I'm like, but the words have to make sense. And once I decide this melody opened up the door for me to say this. Now I'm good. Now everything else is way easier. I start off with the hooks.
So, who are some of your favorite artists in the game right now?
I'm a big fan of Blast. Blast's new artist I like. I played Chosen like all last year. Like that was like my favorite song. Um, I really enjoy. I enjoy Summer Walker. I enjoy Summer a lot. I think she's underrated. To be honest with you, a lot of people,
Yeah,
even at the rate she's going, I still think she's underrated.
I mean, but do you think she may be underrated due to her genre? Because I feel like if Summer Walker produced the same level of productivity and quality as a rapper,
Mhm.
you can make an argument that she'd be a lot further ahead.
You could, you could make the argument. You know what? It isn't until you put in this context. I never really thought about the comparing of celebrity and success and stature in mainstream from R&B artists to rappers.
You probably don't
Just
really care because you just care about the quality, so you're not really, looking into it.
nah, I just never really put it in that like it till you put it like that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. There's way more, but I think what happens is, so let's take somebody like Summer Walker, right? There, if we there's no real rap comparison to it, there's no real rap comparison to what she is and who she is. Like they have their own space. R&B artists have their own space. So
Yeah,
it's just a different. The
yeah,
genre makes it different.
yeah, and it's tough to be a female rapper at that. If you're not going the Megan, the Cardi B, or the Nicki route, it's
Yeah.
like if you just give me straight bars out as a woman, I'm thinking about like Younger May. She's probably the most lyrical female artist, and she's not as popular as the other few women I just named.
So funny. You know who I think is actually the most lyrical of them all? Doja Cat. Doja Cat.
Interesting. What about No
Doja.
Name? No Name is good too. I'm
No
not.
Name, I think is dope. No Name, I think is dope. But I think as far as having the complete lyrical package to be able to rap and get the songs, and like she even on these chart topping songs, she's her flows, her lines, like she's not like
I
playing.
do like Doja Cat. I'm not gonna lie. I like her, but as far as lyricism concerned, you put her number one.
I'm telling you, bro,
Oh,
she could get just as busy as if you put her on those beats. I hear it, I see it. She's very witty. She's very witty.
interesting. Hopefully, this gets out to Doja Cat then.
Yeah.
Who would you say inspired your sound the most?
I would say is like a producer from the producer side. Timbaland and Pharrell are like my biggest influences. Like if I feel like I'm not pushing the envelope, those are the guys I look to be like, all right, would Timbo co-sign this? Would Pharrell co-sign this? Like if I feel I need to push that, because they just, we grew up in that time where like we didn't even realize how much of the music we love they were the complete architects of for 2000s music.
You said
So
Timbaland. Who else?
definitely Pharrell.
You like Swizz?
I love Swiss, but he's not.
He's
I'm not
not
gonna say he's not the same category as these guys, but these dudes, the way they jump back and forth, like
okay.
I think so. I'll explain it perfectly. I think Timbaland is the greatest sound manipulator. He knows how to manipulate sounds better than anyone else. Like a lot of these sounds we hear on Timbaland joints are not musical notes. He's making them musical and fit it in a way that you're like, oh, how did he find a melody in that? He consistently does that.
Mm.
Pharrell is dope in a way. His producing style, what is the beats he make, not only are they off kilter, not only are they very unique to him. If somebody else did them and didn't have his hook, it wouldn't be as fire. That's what makes him as dope as it. So if you took him off of some of those beats that he's done without his hook, it's like because as a rapper, I'm saying I used to download a lot of these instrumentals and try to rap it. And like I remember these songs that he would have, I'm like, this is a big song. And I get on the beat, I'm like, it's not the same. So it's something he's doing to his music that separates him from everybody else. So between Pharrell and Timbo, they're just it and it.
Interesting. That's a very interesting thought there. He makes his stuff predicated towards what he can do as an artist.
Yes,
That's
yes.
wow.
He's sculpting these songs around the art. Like it's crazy. It's just crazy to really watch the process happen with other artists as they're in the studio. Like I've studied those YouTube videos and like, yeah, they're just in awe.
Which artist would you say you want to collab with the most? Hello? Hello?
That's all. If anything, it'd probably be Hope. Probably Hope. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. You said Jay-Z?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
definitely
most
Hope.
interesting. Why him?
To me, he's the GOAT of everything. Like he's
The GOAT. He's number one all time for you?
all time. There's nothing anyone could ever do to surpass Jay-Z. Nothing.
Wow. Interesting. Nothing. Wow.
You can't. Nothing. Because he opened the door.
No, no. Biggie can give him a run for his money. Nas.
He wasn't around long enough. Nas don't got the J catalog. He don't got the J catalog. It's not. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think too. This is what I would say to Jay, right? And we're not gonna make a whole Jay Z, like stand moment.
Hmm.
But what I think is very about him is we got to see the longevity play out in hip hop differently than anybody. He's the longest reigning at that spot. So there's only a few other people who are relevant after 10 years. Like if you think about it and watch pay attention to hip hop history, a great hip hop career is a 5 year run. That's a great hip hop career. Once you hit your 5 year mark where you've got a good amount of hits and everyone knows your joint, you're good. To get to the 10 year mark where you are just as or even higher you were back in that 5 year when you were peaking, there isn't too many dudes who've hit that. It's a very small list. And then once you start getting past that list, 15, it starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And once you get to that point, he's really in a league in a class by himself.
Himself.
So I could get more into depth about it, but we're gonna leave that for now.
What do you think was album of the year last year?
Uh Album of the year last year. I know everybody's going back and forth between Donda and CLB, Kool's joint.
I heard Tyler Creator had a good one. I hear
I'm
Baby.
not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of him.
Me either. I don't like him. He's just too weird for me. That's
Yeah,
it. I hear he's talented though, but he's just too weird for me.
it's a little weird for me.
I heard Baby Keem had a good album. I heard.
Yeah, he has some songs. He definitely has some songs. I can definitely hear somebody, a talented artist. I could definitely hear a talented artist. I heard a few joints from it, and some of them connected just like his come out party was fire. That joint he got with Kendrick is classic. Like
Yeah,
that's still ripped off.
having a Kendrick
But
co-sign is big.
yeah, and he did his thing. He did the Kendrick cosign was big, and he did his thing. Like I'm excited to see what's next for him. But if I let's put it like this, I feel like Donda was is a more of a complete project. I feel like it was the most complete project, complete album of the year. But I spun Certified Lover Boy like all year. Like I just spun those songs all year. Like I
Yeah,
still be listening to joints.
it depends. What a lot of people say. Well, CLB has more club hits on it that you probably listen to casually. Donda's kind of something you have to sit down and ingest.
Yeah,
You got to be in
you
the
got
mood,
it.
right state of mind to listen to Donda.
Yeah.
If you could listen to 5 albums, only pick five for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Oof. Um, can only do five. All right. So I would do Confessions.
Interesting.
Um, The Blueprint, Twisted Dark Fantasy, 2014 Forest Hills Drive,
I get that one a lot.
and, and damn, I always go back to these joints. I probably end up being If You're Reading This Is Too Late.
Interesting. No Illmatic.
No.
Drake got no classics though, right?
Huh?
Drake has no classics.
Who said that? Where did that come from? How
The
you try to say that
populace.
like it was
The populace. I mean, the populace says Drake has no classics.
Absolutely. You know what's funny? The same people who say he has no classics, and I consistently see this. This is what they'll do. Oh, he don't got no classics. What you mean? If you're reading this too late, nothing was the same, and Take Care. They name the same 3 albums every single time. So it's like clearly you think they're classics. You just don't rock with them.
Personally, I don't think Drake has any classics. Those are the three that come the closest, so we kind of just give it to him. We
Man,
gotta just give it to him, man.
each his own. I think I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know. I let people debate on that. I think he's another one of those when there's lose-lose situation, there's win-lose situation when I think about him. Like he just was so popular that it really doesn't matter. Like he won too much. He wins too
Loki,
much.
Loki.
So
I definitely know what you mean.
yeah.